In this chapter, we read about gifts to students or staff. So giving, whoops. Gift giving to students or staff should definitely have procedures and expectations and guidelines in place. School funds are not for admin or teachers to just loan, borrow, give away. So there should be procedures and guidelines in place for giving gifts. There are two ways that gifts or prizes can be paid for out of the activity fund for gifts for students. One way is as incentives for fundraising events, and the second way is for awards for special achievements. If you are giving fundraising incentives gifts, it's important that only the students that participated are receiving the gifts. The prize is age appropriate, doesn't affect the profitability of the fundraiser. It should be purchased by the student group that receives the gifts, and they should not be related to fundraising, should not be in favor of one group of students over another. If you're giving out special achievement gifts, gifts should be nominal in value and age appropriate. Funding for awards can come from the general fund, donations from businesses, parent groups, or it could also come from the athletic fund. So the next section is talking about gifts to staff members. So staff members, if you're giving gifts to staff members, there needs to be strict policies, procedures, guidelines in place. And there really should be a committee in place for this instead of one individual person. And the committee should meet once a year to update the policies, procedures, and make sure they're being followed in place. In our school, we have a social fund committee, and they are the group in charge of gifts to staff members. And they meet twice a year to discuss policies and procedures and ensuring those are in place. So it's really important you have some kind of remembrance social fund committee that is, and there's clear procedures in place for giving gifts to staff members. If we are giving gifts to staff members, it is important that the procedures allow gifts to the staff members. The gifts are reasonably priced and they should be paid for out of the social fund. The money from the social fund comes from annual dues. For example, at our school, everyone pays $20 in dues yearly for our social fund. And then there's a committee that is in charge of getting gifts for staff for special occasions. Again, there shouldn't be one person in charge of depositing and collecting funds. That's why there's a committee. If you're fundraising and a staff member participates, there could be a gift involved. Just make sure that it's appropriate and that it's not more than 5% of the profit for the school. Again, if you're going to give the whole staff gifts, for example, at the beginning of the school year, if you're going to give teachers a free t-shirt or teacher appreciation week, make sure that the gifts are not high in cost and if that they should be paid for out of the social fund or donated. So it's okay to use staff generated funds to benefit the staff. So money made from the soda machine, if it's a raffle among the staff, then it would be okay to use those funds to benefit the staff. So cash or checks, gift certificates that can be turned in for cash, they should not be given to staff unless that amount is added to their W-2 form. Sometimes you may have a student or a staff member that is in need or have a special circumstance or an illness, and your school wants to raise money for them. So if that happens, it is important that you contact the district accounting office in the district to get advice and follow those district procedures. And then any of the cash that the student or staff may receive, if it's a staff member, then they would it would have to be reported by the payroll office. and on their tax forms. So it is best if you're going to do something like this to have a parent organization coordinate it. Then these funds aren't accounted for in the school's bookkeeping records.